Fortnite was nothing you stared at. It's something you built with your hands, like Man 101. It was.
This was the Dan Levatar Show on ESPN Radio.
We live in a racist country.
Your home is important. That's why Geico helps make it easy to save on condo insurance. Because home is more than just a place. Home is where you took minimalism too far because there's only one chair in your entire condo and your only entertainment is one card. Not even a deck of cards, but a single card. And all your guests have to share one plate and one fork, but you're convinced that less stuff means more freedom. The Geico Insurance Agency could help protect the overly minimalist broom closet you call home. Call Geico and see how easy it is to switch and save on condo insurance.
Today is the day for doing at the Home Depot's Pack Store Save event. Get a variety of HDX shelving units, then fill them with Tough Totes, including 27-gallon totes, a special buy at just $8.98. These durable black and yellow totes are strong enough to stack and durable enough to last. Put everything in its place and get yourself to the right place. The Pack Store Save event at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid until August 25th while supplies last.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and are behind on your monthly payments, you need to make this free call right now. 800-428-4187. When you call the Stop Debt Hotline, you're taking the first steps for help. Debt specialists are part of a real team who will help you with all of your options. You could stop the collection calls and letters forever by calling the completely confidential toll-free number right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can handle your debt forever. Imagine no more late nights and no more debt. Don't try to face your creditors alone. Call the Stop Debt Hotline right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. Get free information now by calling the Stop Debt Hotline. 800-428-4187. Non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Debt Resolution Helpline. 102 Northeast 2nd Street, number 183, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
I'm Barry Cole, owner of Beret Jewelers. What do you think when you hear 60 to 70% off diamonds? If you're equipped with a good truth filter, a loud alarm goes off in your head and screams, mark up to mark down, mark up to mark down. At Beret Jewelers, we don't mark it up to mark it down, but I promise you, we will always be the lowest price on comparable quality diamonds and jewelry. You don't stick around for 32 years unless you've done just that. Like people, diamonds have levels of integrity. Our job at Beret Jewelers is to find you that perfect diamond with strong levels of integrity, diamonds that are properly graded and beautifully cut so many years down the road, it shimmers, shines, and stands out in a crowd. Sometimes the hidden treasure is right in your backyard, and for diamonds and jewelry, it's here at Beret Jewelers, brand new location next to Bonefish Grill on 12th Avenue or in Gulf Breeze. I'm Barry Cole from Beret Jewelers, and I want to be your jeweler.
ESPN Pensacola 945 is locally owned by the ADX Communications Group. That includes News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620, Cat Country 98.7 and 1330 WEBY 99.1 FM. This means that we have the staff, the experience, and the generators to get you through the storm before, during, and after. We care, and we're ready because we're local. ESPN Pensacola 945.
Welcome to Bo! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. You know, snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office.
Well, we're very appreciative to Dabo Swinney, the head coach of the national champion Clemson Tigers, to take the time to be with us.
Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio.
He does possess the skills necessary to play and be successful in the National Football League or anywhere else.
And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 945.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola, 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Oh, happy Tuesday. Welcome into the program, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. It is Talk Football with Coach K. Coach K in studio, and I'm Joe Ford, bringing you up to date with all the news and notes and happenings in the world of football as we are inching closer and closer to the first live football of the 2019-2020 season with the Hall of Fame game, the Broncos and the Falcons. And the NFL is where we're going to start. Coach, welcome into the program. Glad to be joining you as always, and a lot going on, a few more injuries as training camps are getting into full swing, but contract negotiations and the lack thereof is really what's driving the conversation right now in the world of the NFL. Some high-profile guys, of course, we've covered them individually: Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, Jadeveon Clowney. He's kind of dropped off the radar the first couple of weeks. Haven't really heard much rumblings about him, but of course, Elliott, all eyes on him. Michael Thomas, of course, with the New Orleans Saints, he is still not reporting to camp. Trent Williams, the big offensive lineman with the Washington Redskins as well. And Coach, starting with with America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones with some interesting comments. He was asked how things stand with Zeke. I believe that Zeke is in Cabo right now. His agent has a house out there, and Zeke is there training. It's the same thing that he did when he was suspended for the personal conduct violation a couple of seasons ago. And so that's where Zeke is while his agent is still working on things. Jerry Jones was asked about the situation and probably gave the best effort to kind of put the Cowboys, his team, in the best possible position in terms of PR when it comes to these negotiations. He says, quote, "The point there is you don't have to have a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. Emmett was the first one to do it," end quote. And Smith accomplished that feat both in 92, 93, and 95. Unironically, the 3 years that the Cowboys did win the Super Bowl. But for Jerry Jones to say that, at a fundamental level, he is correct. You do not need a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. However, the way that the team has been constructed, spending a 4th overall pick on Ezekiel Elliott. No, you do not need a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. However, Jerry, needs his rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, I think, number one, he's got to do this from a negotiating standpoint. He has to. You got to protect the franchise. They've got $23 million to take care of Ezekiel Elliott, the quarterback, and the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not going to work. It's like fitting a square peg into a round hole. It just doesn't work. There's not enough there. Okay. So I think he has to look ahead to the point where he may have to make a decision. And here are some other factors to take a look at. Ezekiel Elliott has 2 years remaining on a contract. You shouldn't have to renegotiate with 2 years remaining. Fine, if you want to do it with 1 year, that's pretty well been a precedent in the league. 1 year remaining, you renegotiate. But what are you supposed to do, renegotiate every year? when the scale changes, and it's going to change continually as they increase the salaries, then to be properly respected, which I detest totally, they're going to have to make what they feel is a right compensation for them. Now that's baloney. Okay, so you got to look at all of that, and do you set a precedent? Can you take care of all of those people? And I will tell you this from the standpoint of and I'm not so sure that they're totally dependent on Ezekiel Elliott. They've got 2 other running backs that they can do running back by committee. I'm not sure Dak Prescott is the type quarterback. I don't think he's the type quarterback that can carry a football team. But if you've got a quarterback who can move the football, put points on the board. Example, New England Patriots. They don't have to have the top running back in the league for sure. Okay. Nor do they have to bring back their leading rusher every year. It doesn't matter. And there are other examples I could give. But I think what really needs to be looked at in Dallas, what's applicable to them, is that, it would help them specifically to have him back. But number one, how are they going to do it with the monies they have left in the cap? Number two, do they start a precedent with 2 years remaining on the contract? And thirdly, I mean, you got to start from a PR standpoint. You got to start making a story, have a legitimate story to tell if you don't sign him.
There's a few layers to this. The first one being Elliott's contract and the leverage or the lack thereof that he may have in getting a new deal this year, because you're right, there is the fact that you have Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott both into the last year of their deals. So just in terms of the numbers and the finances, you would think that they would have priority over a guy who has 2 years remaining. But I know that in the language of Ezekiel Elliott's contract, he would lose the accrued season towards free agency if he does not report by August 6th, a week from today. So for a guy that is already 2 years away from hitting the free agent market to not report by August 6th, to push that free agency back another year, that is, I think, at the forefront of the Cowboys' mind. They certainly know that. His agent certainly knows that. So for Ezekiel Elliott, I think, and I've seen different articles, and we're going to get to one shortly where we're talking about who do the pundits or who do the experts, so-called, think is in line to get the deal, or who has the best chance of it. I don't really see Ezekiel Elliott being that high in terms of how things stand contractually right now. But that being said, the Cowboys are built for Ezekiel Elliott. We can talk all day long about Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, the guys that they have around him, but the fact of the matter is that the Cowboys suffer without Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not going to put Dak Prescott on a pedestal to say that he can carry a team by himself, because frankly I don't think he can. I think he needs that Ezekiel Elliott to feed off of, and the numbers would back that up, is that statistically he is better with Ezekiel Elliott. So it's an interesting balance. It's an interesting situation.
I think the thing you got to look at here is can they do it? We're sitting here talking about it, and it really does no good, because if they can't do it, regardless of how much they would like to have him, or that we feel like they should have him, if they can't do it financially,
right,
then it can't be done, and you got to find some way to move on. And you occasionally, and I've been through this, and know many times that it's happened, it will happen again. You're forced to, regardless of what you think, you're forced to move on. Now, personally, I think of the ones that they've got rated. I know they've Sports Illustrated, I think, and they've got him rated as the number one person likely to get a new contract. I agree with you. I disagree with that particular And I think by far the guy that has to be the first to sign is the receiver at New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
He is the most valuable, and his contract is up. Everything's there for him. He's been, my gosh, 335 receptions. He sets the all-time record. And I don't know what Drew Brees would do without him, because they certainly don't have any other surrounding players.
Right.
So to me, it's not even a contest. He's number one.
And it's interesting to hear and to see the dynamic playing out, because we all know the saying "actions speak louder than words." And since Elliott has been a rookie, all the actions of the Dallas Cowboys, everything that they've done from a coaching standpoint, from a roster construction standpoint, is telling Ezekiel Elliott, "You are the guy. We're building this offense around you." They picked him with Jalen Ramsey still on the board. There was a lot of people that thought they should have gone that route. They took Elliott. At the time they drafted him, Jerry Jones said about how much Elliott could help their defense, because the defense was the big problem the year before. And Jerry Jones came out and he said, "Hey, we drafted Ezekiel Elliott because we think he can help our defense just as much as our offense. Ball control, you're not on the field as much." And then everything since then, building the offensive line, a quarterback that I think works well with Elliott, a guy in Amari Cooper to take pressure, to get guys out of the box. So for the past 3 years, the Cowboys have been saying through their actions, "Zeke, you're the guy." And it's interesting now that the contract negotiations are going on, the Cowboys are saying, "Well, we don't need a rushing leader." It's really interesting, the dynamic. And this happens all the time. You're absolutely right, because the team's job is not to agree with the running back saying, "Yeah, you absolutely deserve this much." It's to say, "This is why you don't deserve that much." And it's really interesting when it plays out in the public as it is right now.
Yeah, well, it's going to, and it happens that way. So they've got no choice. They've got to look at that possibility, and it's a strong possibility. I think they'll get a deal done with him some way, somehow, but I think it may hurt him down the way too, if they violate that precedent and do this. But anyway, there's some interesting people on here. Jadeveon Clowney, I know, is on here, and I think we talked about before. I got word from inside message there that they're not very happy with him. He's he's just, his effort doesn't match his ability, and that's one thing that really disappoints anybody as a coach, when a guy comes in, has all that ability, and just doesn't have the work ethic or that you feel that he should have, or the determination to go out there and be the best that he can be. So that's what his holdup is.
Yeah, and looking at this list again, this is Sports Illustrated. Looking at a ranking of the top end free agents in terms of who has the better chance of succeeding at getting what they want, and ranking 1 through 6. They do have Ezekiel Elliott at number 1. Trent Williams, the offensive tackle for the Washington Redskins. You would think that his success is determined, number 1, the premium position that he plays, and number 2, the Redskins just spent a high draft pick on who they hope is their franchise quarterback in Dwayne Haskins. So does 1 + 1 equal 2 here?
Yeah, I think there's some merit for him. I don't think he's that high. Again, I think number 1 should be
Thomas, right,
receiver over in New Orleans. And then maybe Williams comes in second, but not over Thomas. I certainly believe that's
so you would have Thomas 1, probably Williams 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other key free agents. So if we're going by your order, Coach K, you would have Michael Thomas 1, Trent Williams 2. Then from there you have Elliott, Jadeveon Clowney, Yannick Ngakoue, the defensive end for the Jaguars, followed by Melvin Gordon, running back for the Chargers.
I think the defensive end of rush guy Jacksonville would be number 3, and then maybe get to the backs.
Yeah.
And go from there. Now, Melvin Gordon, I think is very valuable, but there are a lot of people that I've even talked to that say there are backs out there that are as good as he is or better.
And he's the guy that we've seen the evidence of what happens without him, right? Because the Chargers, and we talked about this last week, Phillip Rivers came out last week and said, I don't think he meant to say it as any sort of shot against Melvin Gordon, but he said, hey, we're moving on. We've got two guys in Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson that we believe in, and we've seen them do it. The Chargers won 4 out of 4 games that Melvin Gordon wasn't on the field for last year. So, the Sports Illustrated has him at 6. I think you'd probably rank him towards the bottom as well. And that's the risk you run. That's the unfortunate situation that Melvin Gordon's in. Now, I know he's in his last year of his contract. Again, not like Ezekiel Elliott, who still has 2 years left.
Right. And Jadeveon Clowney, I think you just got to be careful with a guy like that. He may be shooting just to get as big a contract as he can, and then just play it safe, and not get hurt. You know, you have to remember now, he kind of pulled up his senior year in college.
Right.
Okay, so do it once, you may do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Clowney, a guy that, as a freshman and a sophomore, he was already the one pick, and his junior year for sure, definitely. Kind of coasted home, and that's something, quite frankly, that I'll be interesting to see how Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence fares in his final 2 years. He doesn't really seem the type to coast home. I don't think you can get away with that, as a quarterback.
No, I don't think so. No way.
But, you have the dynamic of everybody knows, everybody expects you to be the top pick in a couple of seasons when you're done with your junior year. That has to some degree, creep into a player's mind, though.
Well, I think it does, but no, there's not going to be anything that you wouldn't applaud, as a fan. That I think he lines up and plays and gives it his best. There is one thing you can do now that the university can do for you, are an agent. Now, which he could very well get done, because there are going to be some big-time agents after him who will go spend the big-time money, and they could buy an insurance policy for him for his last year or whatever. That would pay him an anticipated amount should he get hurt and can't play. So that's one way they can mitigate the circumstances.
A few other news and notes from around the National Football League. This one, Coach, caught both of our attention. By the way, if you want to weigh in on the conversation, if you agree with us, disagree, what have you, the number is 972-1945. Again, that's 972-1945. ESPN Pensacola, the number there. The Miami Dolphins making some waves as the new head coach Brian Flores, coming over from the New England Patriots, making a change to his coaching staff already, as we're now just a few days or a week for some teams into training camp. Pat Flaherty, the offensive line coach, is no more. Brian Flores replacing him with Dave DeGuglielmo, who was the offensive line coach of the Indianapolis Colts last year. Coach, we've talked a lot. You specifically have talked about how good the offensive line was for the Indianapolis Colts, how good it projects to be in the future. And a couple things. Number one, have you ever seen a coaching staff change at this point in the season before?
No. I had a situation where in the late spring I had to make an unanticipated move because of family situation with a coach, which I can appreciate. Sure. But in fact, that's the reason that I hired a guy named Pete Carroll.
Nice. But he's an average coach, yeah.
Well, anyway, this is very unusual, to say the least. I mean, this really caught me by surprise. Something's up there in two different situations. One, the Miami situation. Why do you have to get rid of a coach, especially an offensive line coach? Listen, the intricacies of coaching an offensive line are considerable. And why would you have to get rid of an offensive coach? I want to get behind the scenes and find out why, and I'll tell our audience. But there's something going on there, big time. They had at Miami last year. They had a coach there that they caught, I guess, messing around with cocaine or whatever, and they fired him. But now I have heard nothing about.
Yeah.
And I hope nobody thinks I'm associating that with this. But this is very unusual. And the other thing is the Indianapolis offensive line, I thought, played very well last year. They had some individuals who were outstanding, the Nelson kid from Notre Dame in particular. But so I don't understand him being on the street and available. But I'm going to find out about these two because they really, really catch my attention.
And reading this from Cameron Wolfe, ESPN staff writer for the Miami Dolphins, what he's writing is that Flores made the decision Monday. Tuesday, he listed communication and fit rather than one incident as the biggest factors in his decision. And this is Flores speaking, quote, not an easy decision. The easy thing to do would be to do nothing and hope it gets better. More times than not, in my experience, it doesn't get better. And who loses out? Those guys on the field. So, Coach, according to the article here, what Flores is saying is it really seemed to be just a lack of progress. And I respect the coach for not, hesitating, for not saying, hey, let's see if this thing plays out, because I think the same can be said for players as coaches, is that you probably know with some guys, hey, they're a star, right? Or hey, this guy, he just doesn't have it, whatever this is. And I think the same could be said for coaches. Is clearly he brought a guy in. Early indication was, I just don't have a good feeling. I just don't think he's got it, and I need to make a change before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Herein
lies the problem, and it's a big problem. I do fault you don't get rid of a coach in the training camp. He could have, obviously, if there was something going on there, or he didn't particularly care how the guy conducted himself, or his knowledge of the game or whatever. All that should have been done long before, during the hiring process. And maybe the first month that he was hired, you would know, and I could see that maybe happening. You just made a bad hire. But during camp, no, I can't see that. I think it bodes well for the whole situation down there. You can't have a disciplined organization when you fire a coach 3 or 4 days into camp. I don't believe you can do that. I just don't see it. I don't know why this. It must have been something very, very serious to make it at this time, or he was negligent in hiring the guy to begin with, or getting to know enough about him before you get players involved. Once you get players involved, it's too late. I'm not too late, but it's certainly not the best situation.
Well, those are great points. That's so you're seeing kind of red flags firing up all over the place right now in Miami.
No question about it. There, and I'd like to know what happened in Indianapolis as well.
Well, it's a tremendous insight that you can only get right here. We're going to take a time out. Talk Football with Coach K is live on a Tuesday. We'll be back in a moment. ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
The Home Depot is making finding your color and choosing the right paint easier than ever. With curated palettes of this year's most popular colors and new paint selection tools online and in-store, you can confidently select your color and the tools for your next paint project. Now get a colorful new experience with the Home Depot's paint expertise and selection of top quality brands, colors, and finishes. Get your paint project done right with gallons of Behr Premium Plus from just $24.98 at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See store for details.
There's nothing better than enjoying summer travel with family and friends. So, for a limited time at Holiday Inn and Holiday Inn Express, we're helping you be there for less. Save at least 20% at thousands of hotels worldwide during our global sale if you book by July 31st and stay by September 15th. And if you're an IHG Rewards Club member, you'll save even more. So what are you waiting for? Book now at HolidayInn.com. We're there, so you can be too. Terms and conditions apply.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. If you're tailgating before the game, don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, Joe Ford and Coach K with you. You are talking football with Coach K on a Tuesday. Phone number 972-1945. Again, that's 972-1945. You can call or text us. You can drop a comment on our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page as we are taking you inside the NFL this first half hour. And we talked a little bit about the Miami Dolphins in the last segment, and that leads us right into what we're going to talk about next. Last week, we spent a good amount of time talking about the who we think are the serious contenders for out of the NFC to make it to the Super Bowl, and going division by division to see who we might see as a favorite or perhaps a contending for a wild card spot out in the AFC. And Coach, it's been the story since the turn of the century. It is the Patriots' division to lose, the AFC East, and I see nothing to change that headed into this season.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I think it's the Patriots, and the greatest example of organization, discipline, continuity, all of those things that we know are important, but we don't emphasize. They have emphasized, and it just goes to show the blueprint's there. Now but these owners aren't gonna. They don't have the stick-to-itiveness to stay with it, like New England has done. Which you got to give Robert Kraft a lot of credit as well. But listen, when you look at New England, always when you break down a ball game, I always start with the organization and the coaching on a team. They're the best of the league, number one. Number two, the quarterback. And they have the best quarterback in football. No doubt in my mind about that. And I think he's going to play. I'd make a bet right now he plays till he's 45, 46 years old.
That's what he wants to do.
And but they got the best quarterback. I had one guy right now. I'm getting ready to go into the season. You could say you could have one quarterback pick him. You got 5 seconds. No question, I'm going to pick Tom Brady.
Not even hesitation.
Yeah.
I'm curious because the Patriots, for as good as they've been, they have not been immune to slow starts. As they, I think Coach Belichick likes to kind of use September as, hey, we're gonna play with this, we're gonna toy with this, trying to figure out what type of team he has. And of course, he is a chameleon when it comes to his opponents. The Patriots 1 week never look the same from week to week. But with that being said, I'm curious to know how much, if any, changes do we see fundamentally to what the Patriots do on offense? Because just like the Cowboys right now are at least in their mind preparing for a life without Ezekiel Elliott, although I don't think either one of us expected to get that point. The Patriots now have a life without one of their fundamental guys that they've built the offense around in Rob Gronkowski. Now, he's had a lot of injury issues, so we've seen the Patriots do it without him, but from a 16-game season, there's no 87 on the field as far as his run blocking, as far as his route running, all the things that he did so well. The Patriots now have to figure out other ways to move the ball down the field.
Well, that's true. They're gonna the Gronkowski factor is not going to be there. They will utilize tight ends, not to the same extent, but in many ways they'll utilize some of the same schemes. They're not going to jettison the whams and the traps and the cute things they did with the tight end. Now, nobody is probably going to do the job blocking. I know they're not going to do the job route running or catching the ball that he does. But they'll do it they'll make it up with the inside passing game. Obviously, with Edelman, then they'll of course they have a great passing game there. Part of the inside passing game was Gronkowski along with Edelman. But they'll get backs involved, and they'll also have a receiver. You wait and see. They'll have a receiver package where they'll have an additional receiver inside running some of those same types of routes that Gronkowski did. Now, I would bet on that, and I'm not so sure. They got the young kid, the big tall kid out of Arizona, as a #1 draft pick, which is unusual. For them to do that.
Yeah.
But look for him to do some cute things inside and take some of the routes that Gronkowski did. They'll make up the difference in many, many ways. They're sharp and they'll get that done. So I have no concerns about them.
And looking again, breaking down the AFC East as we're in training camp now, and as news and storylines start to come out about the teams, the Miami Dolphins. We've talked about them a little bit. You see some red flags in terms of Brian Flores in the decision making, perhaps with his coaching staff. They're a team that's looking at a new quarterback, regardless of who it is. They traded for Josh Rosen. They have Ryan Fitzpatrick. You said during the break that the reports that you're getting is that Ryan Fitzpatrick is looking very good. I know I heard elsewhere yesterday that Josh Rosen's looking very good as well.
Well, that's who I heard. Was Josh Rosen was looking good, and Fitzpatrick is obviously going to look good early in camp because of his experience. So I don't know what they're going to do. I just know when the season starts, they got to be hoping. And they're crazy not to, if at all possible, put Rosen in there. Because he was thrown to the Wolves last year in Arizona, so you don't have to worry about a rookie coming in throwing to the Wolves. And he needs as much playing time as he can. And I think he would be a good one. I don't have him. I don't have Miami as second. I've got, I think the Jets might come in behind New England and then Buffalo and then Miami.
And looking at the New York Jets, they've been stocking up for sure, both in the draft and in free agency. Obviously, the big money signing is Le'Veon Bell. We'll see how he does in tandem with Sam Darnold. Coach, I think there's maybe a split on whether he can be the type of franchise leader that the Jets hope he is. I think he's got the natural talent, the raw ability. decision making can be cleaned up. And I think he would admit to that. He probably felt like he had to do much more with a lack of a good offensive line at USC. That kind of crept up into some of his decision making. We saw that early last year, but he's a guy who really improved over the course of the season. They've got Le'Veon Bell. They went after the defensive line, bolstering up the defensive line in a big way, drafting Quinnen Williams, and also in the free agency market as well. So you and I are in agreement. The New York Jets probably coming in second there, maybe pushing for a wild card spot.
Could be. I don't know that they're quite there yet, but no, they could be. That could be a possibility depending on how things go. I think there's some better teams out there that would be in a position for the wild card, but that could happen. But I think they're the number 2 team in that division right now. And Buffalo, there are a lot of people that think Buffalo is. That surprises me a little bit. But,
yeah, me too.
But there are some people that feel like they're the number 2 team, Jets 3rd, and Miami 4th. I think it's Jets, Buffalo, and then Miami. I think Buffalo really they have to do something to increase the accuracy of their quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, he's a big, strong guy who came along pretty good last year. He can throw the ball through a brick wall, and which is good up there in that wind in Buffalo. But he has had accuracy problems. That was his big knock coming in, and I don't know that he did a lot to improve in the accuracy last year. Maybe some. I didn't have a chance to evaluate it all the way through. But anyway, I think that's their biggest thing. They do have some good players, good defense coming back. Got some offensive linemen that they're not a bad football team.
If the year was 2005, they would have probably the best backfield in the league, right? Frank Gore and LaShawn McCoy both back there, but of course they're in the 30s now, but it'll be interesting to see with Buffalo. So you have it, Coach. Patriots 1, Jets 2, followed by Buffalo, and then the Dolphins. So that's your outlook for the AFC East. Before we take a break, we'll look at the AFC North. This is a division that's wide open. I think 3 of the 4 teams have a legitimate shot at the division. Coach, who do you think is coming in at number 1 in that division right now?
Well, I think probably you'd have to give the nod to Pittsburgh at this point. I think they're just because of their organization, their coaching. They got Roethlisberger and the one receiver is as good a receiver as there is in football right now.
Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Smith-Schuster. But I see him. But I tell you what, they're going to be. I'm not buying into Cleveland's going to the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong. But I will tell you this. I think Cleveland will push Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be close. That's going to be neck and neck. And it's going to be very, very interesting as to who wins it. But I think Cleveland's going to be right in there battling. They'll battle it out with them.
I think this division looks to me like the NFC East has looked for the past few years, where no team gets to 10 wins, but you've got 3 teams that are 9-7, 8-8 type, because there's no real team to me that really stands out. I give the edge to Pittsburgh, Coach, just like you do, because of that experience. They have been in late season pushes before. They have plenty of experience. Now, remains to be seen how they go about replacing Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. We know that they have James Conner. We'll see about the wide receiver spot. They have a good group of tight ends. Defensively, they've worked hard to address their front 7 because that was a big problem for them last year. But looking at the division just as a whole, I don't really see anybody running away with it. I don't see a 10-win team in this division. I see Baltimore, I see Pittsburgh, I see Cleveland looking at 9-7, 8-8 type seasons, and could come down to week 15 or 16 or 17 even.
I think Cleveland and Pittsburgh have a chance. Both have a chance at a 10-win season. The other two, I think, are dragging up the rear. I don't like Baltimore.
Really?
I think they've got a good defense. I think they've done good. They're going to reinvent. And I heard Harbaugh on an interview the other day, and it almost floored me that they were even insinuating that now he's going to reinvent the offense in the National Football League. I'm going to tell you where that offense is going to put them. Right down the tubes, in my opinion. You can't do it. They're good defensively. They are
very good defensively.
They are good enough defensively to win any division if they have anything going offensively. But you got to score some points, and you got to keep the ball and have help your defense by keeping them off the field.
And I think that's how the Ravens want to go about it. Yes, we talked yesterday, and Coach Harbaugh certainly seems to insinuate that Lamar Jackson's going to run the ball. He's going to run the ball a lot. Could be shattering records for single-season rushing attempts, rushing yards, what have you. The first thing and the most important thing is he has to stay upright. You and I both have concerns, both have doubts about whether that's going to happen. But fundamentally speaking, I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to be that team where you are going to see them run the ball 35, 40, 45 times a game. They're going to shorten the field. They're going to shorten the amount of time that the other team has the ball. And we saw towards the end of last year, they gave a team, I mean, I think they beat the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall that. I know they came really close to beating the Chiefs in Kansas City, but Baltimore, I just, mainly for the same reason of the Steelers, I've seen them do it too much. I've seen them be around in November and December into early January too much.
Here's what happened last year. It was all a novelty. All of a sudden, they put this kid in. Nobody expected him to, and he's running with the football. He's like an offensive single wing tailback, and they're beating people. They won. I think they won like 7 or 8 ball games. But you saw what happened to them when they got in the playoffs. They got smashed. I mean, just annihilated. The blueprint's there. I don't see them being any of any major contention anywhere. And you still got to score points. You can have the best defense in the world, but you still got to, in the National Football League, you still got to be able to score some points because their defense is good, but it's not good enough to keep people off the scoreboard. They're going to score points in that league. All right, and then Cincinnati Bengals, I think, as usual, will drag up the rear, especially now since their left tackle is gone, and Green, the top receiver, who is really an outstanding receiver. I think he's one of the top 5 in the league, and he's that ankle. And I'm not sure that ankle's not going to be a problem all year.
Yeah, that certainly is the issue. So, Coach, and talking about the Browns, the last team that we haven't discussed yet, this is the team of the 2019 offseason. This is the team that I think the more and more as time goes on, once we start getting into the middle part of the season, once the NFL can start flexing the games into the more of the primetime games, I think this is the team that a lot of people are going to want to see, especially if they start off very well. And Coach Baker Mayfield is the ringleader. They have 2 LSU guys, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. They have all the tools. They have all the weapons. They don't have experience. And we'll see how that plays out. But I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not, they can't win the division. They certainly can. I'm just really curious to see the dynamic of how things shake out. If things go south quickly, with all those personalities, with the rookie head coach, if this may not blow up into their faces. I hope not. I don't expect it to, but it's a real concern for me, which I don't have about a lot of other teams, because this is a unique situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. If they get off to a terrible start, it's going to magnify any diva problems they have. No doubt about that in my mind. But I think they probably going to have a chance to get off pretty good because they're loaded with talent. Now, I don't care how you cut the pie.
Right.
They've got talent, a tremendous amount of talent with a quarterback that I like. I mean, I like what he does. He's a winner. There's no question about that. And my gosh, they've got the receivers. They got backs. They've got, defensively, I think they're loaded as well defensively. They're just a good football team. I think they're going to be, as I said, I think they're going to be banging right in there back and forth to win that thing.
So, Coach, putting you on the spot, order of finish, the predicted order of finish as far as you're concerned right now, going 1 through 4, how do you see it?
Well, I said give Pittsburgh just a slight edge, and I mean that sincerely. I think it's almost neck and neck between them and Cleveland. Cleveland being there second, if not first. Maybe Baltimore third, and Cincinnati fourth.
All right, very good. We'll go ahead and take a timeout. Coming back, we've talked a little bit about the Indianapolis Colts. We heard from head coach Frank Reich last week. We'll see how they stack up with the other teams in the division. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When the sand gets hot, you gotta move fast, like a dog chasing a Frisbee. Move just as fast to the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event. Because for the first time ever, you can get 20% estimated savings on select Ford vehicles. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Don't let this hot deal on America's best-selling brand pass you by. Get into the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event. Based on 2010 through 2018 calendar year sales. Modem must be activated within 60 days of purchase through the Ford Pass app on a smartphone and remain active for at least 6 months after activation. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for complete details.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at Jiffy Lube.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K, a Tuesday edition as we are inching our way closer and closer to the first live game of the 2019 season. Hall of Fame game between the Broncos and the Falcons this coming Thursday from Canton, Ohio. Going through the AFC, what we think, what we're projecting to be the order of finish here. And Coach got a quick segment here. We're going to hit the AFC South pretty hard. A lot of us, we've talked at length about the Indianapolis Colts. I think we're both in agreement that they are the favorites for this division. Depending on what service you look at, they're probably maybe the second or third favorite for a run at the Super Bowl out of the entire AFC.
Yeah, there's some good teams in this division. I'm going to tell you, this is a tough division. But we're going to have to rush through this because of time here. But I like the Colts. I tell you, Jacksonville, if they get that defense, I think they're going to be right on their heels. And maybe a tight race there. I've got probably Houston coming in third with the Tennessee Titans bringing up the rear. Now, but they're all good football teams. Any one of those four could end up winning it. Any one of the four.
And it's been that way for the past 3 or 4 years. Texans now a full year with Deshaun Watson and hopefully an offensive line that can keep him upright. The Titans, I think last year their playoff run was an anomaly, just kind of like you alluded to last year with the run that the Baltimore Ravens went on. I see the Titans maybe taking a step back this year. I don't see Derrick Henry being able to kind of find that form that he went on towards the last half of the year. I think he's going to regress a little bit, at least statistically, but I think the team overall is probably looking at a slight decline there. I have Colts 1. I'm going to go Texans 2, followed by the Titans, and then the Jaguars. Foles, to me, he's going to make them better. I don't know how much better he makes them. How many more wins we're adding to a team that, they have big personalities, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Jalen Ramsey and Ngakoue, two guys that are looking to cash in on the starts to their career that they have. But so I have Colts, Texans, Titans, and Jaguars. And, Coach, you have Colts followed by the Titans?
No, I had Colts
Jags.
Followed by Jags. And let me tell you this. If they get that defense is playing like they did 2 years ago with Foles at quarterback, they could win that division over Indianapolis. I think it's going to be very tight between those two. And then the other two are capable, but they're not. Neither one of the other two, I don't think, can beat those two top teams there, unless, and there's a lot of ifs. But I like those two, and I like Houston third and Tennessee fourth.
And just really quickly, Coach, another big difference between the Jaguars of 2 years ago to the Jaguars of last year was the production that they got out of the running back position. Leonard Fournette, very inconsistent, very unhealthy last year. We'll see if he can take care of things.
I think they've improved that some, and that's from the inside. I think Coughlin really laid the hammer down on that position, and they got rid of the other kid that was causing some problems there, which we didn't know about. The other back, they shipped him out. Yeldon, yeah. They shipped him out.
Okay, so there you go. That's our look at the AFC South. A quick look coming back with the remaining time that we have left. The AFC West, the Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, and the Oakland Raiders before they become the Las Vegas Raiders, and the team featured on Hard Knocks, which starts next week. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K, Tuesday edition on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. If you're tailgating before the game, don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K, Tuesday edition. Coach K and Joe Ford with you as we're just about out of time for today's show, but we'll be back tomorrow. Just a day away tomorrow from the start of the NFL preseason, and Coach, going through the AFC, trying to identify some favorites, also guys that teams that may be contending for wild card spots and maybe making a run that we didn't see coming. And AFC West, the last team we're going to get to today, Coach. We have about 3 minutes left. Chiefs, I think we're in unanimous support there of them making another run at a division title.
I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I think the Chargers are going to be right in their pocket. Okay, I think it's going to be head and head between the Chargers and the Chiefs. I really do. And I'll tell you this is going to be an interesting division. Another team may be the dark horse in the AFC are the Oakland Raiders. They have added a tremendous amount of talent to that football team very quietly.
Yeah.
And so look out. I mean, they're in a tough division with the Chiefs and the Chargers this year, but look out, they could be there. And I think Denver, even though they'll make some progress, they're gonna bring up the rear. I don't see how they can compete with the other three.
You know, it's amazing how quickly things can change, and especially how quickly the narrative can change. Because last year at this time, the Raiders were they're the joke of the NFL because they had just traded Khalil Mack to the Chicago Bears. And then we saw what the Raiders were able to accumulate with the draft picks that they got. Then they went out and they signed Antonio Brown to give Derek Carr a bona fide star wide receiver. And all indications are that they're getting along very well. We'll see how that goes.
Trent Brown, all-pro left tackle, which you have to play. And I also got the left guard that he won't play the first 2 games. I think he's suspended. But they're going, and they also got another offensive lineman they got in the draft. They're going to be greatly improved up front.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, the running back from Alabama, they drafted him high.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like out in Oakland for their last season before they head out to Las Vegas. Coach, quickly, the Chargers, of course, all eyes right now on the Melvin Gordon situation. Got about a minute left here, but they still have Phillip Rivers. They still have a lot of guys still around there. Joey Bosa now, he was in and out of the lineup last year. He's one of the premier defensive rush ends in the league. So I think you're right that the Chargers are going to be right there with the Kansas City Chiefs.
They have Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
And that says it all. Without Phillip Rivers, they don't win 7 ball games without Phillip Rivers, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. We've kind of seen that play out over the course of his career. So in order of finish here, you have the Chargers or the Chiefs.
I've got them interchanged. They're so close that I guess you'd maybe have to put the Chiefs first and the Chargers second. But with Oakland a close third, those are all going to be knocking each other off now, to keep in mind. And do not give the Chiefs too much here, because they've had a number of changes, and there's a blueprint that's been laid out now. It's a little bit different. People have a year to catch up with them. It's going to be a little different.
Absolutely. All right, so there you have it. The AFC West coach is calling it close all the way to the finish. That's going to do it for us on a Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
From coast to